Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What is going on, Coach Paul? How you doing today?
Oh, I can hear you loud and clear, Coach Jay. And what is going on this synthetic Monday? Uh, Volatility would be the name that I first comes to mind.
100%. 100%. Extremely volatile markets, which we welcome as traders. Volatility creates opportunity, and there was a ton of volatility across the board. Hopefully, everybody had a good start to your week. Happy Tuesday, shortened trading week. We did have the holiday yesterday. Hopefully, you all enjoyed some time off of the charts. If you weren't trading, but if you were, there were some decent movements as well. But welcome to At the Buzzer, our market recap. This is your first time here. The goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. Our friend Techie Yaya says, I can't hear. Well, probably can't hear
What?
this. You probably can't hear this, but it seems like
Huh?
everybody else can hear. So maybe check your mute setting. Uh, but I'm Coach Jay. I've been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with TopStep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures trading industry for 4 decades, and I'm here to share some of my experiences, some wisdom, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. You are all our chat, our audience. We appreciate you being here each and every day. We do have some big earnings coming out. We got Netflix earnings coming out, so we'll report on those. I don't believe the numbers are out yet. Let me get a little look. Actually, they are out. Here we go. We got them already. Let's take a look at the Netflix chart. I'll bring up trading view here. Netflix earnings per share estimate 55 cents. Revenue estimate $11.97 billion. Earnings per share came in at 56 cents versus estimates of 55 cents. So just a dollar over. Revenues came in at 12.05 billion. Estimates were 11.97 billion. Let's take a look at that. Look at that Netflix chart really quick. See what we got going on here. Looks like some selling in Netflix. Trading $87 right now. I was asking during the daytime show, Coach Paul, what's the last thing you watched on Netflix?
I can't remember. I can't remember because I use all of them,
Okay. Yeah.
and it all melds into one, and then I have to go, what channel?
Where was
What
that?
streaming should be? Yeah, where was that? And
Right.
I have to ask Chatty G. Um,
Where can I
but
find this show?
but I watch it. I can't tell you what the last show I watched on it. How
Yeah.
about you?
Great question. I don't know, honestly. Okay, no, that's not true. I tried to watch Stranger Things, and I was a Stranger Things fan in the first couple of seasons, and it kind of fell off to me. That season where they were in the mall is where it kind of started to fall apart a little bit. But hey, I
Did
know a
you
ton of
say
people like it.
it was too stranger
Yeah, it
thing?
would. It. I don't know. The writing changed. Something changed. Something changed. Which has been some of the MO for Netflix, right? Where they get a show and it's a pretty good one, and then maybe the writing changes. But hey, I know there's a ton of people out there who watch it. Let us know in the chat. What's the last show you watched on Netflix? Give me some good suggestions or something I could watch here. Netflix is to pause buybacks to fund the pending Warner Brothers deal. Still in the running for buying Warner Brothers. Courtney says this season was exceptionally bad. uh, yeah, I'm happy I stopped. But there you go. Netflix earnings are out. Seeing a little bit of selling after the close. Trading in the post. Let's take a look here. Seen some selling there. $87 last trade there in Netflix. Definitely off of its highs. All-time highs were back in June 2025. Seeing some selling down 34% since its all-time high.
Oh, NASDAQ is having a little bit of a rally with that news, interestingly enough.
Interesting. Nasdaq likes that. There you go. There's Netflix down 4% right now. I could check the weighting. How heavily weighted is the Nasdaq or the Netflix in the S&P and the Nasdaq? It is the 26th heaviest weighted company in the S&P, 0.58%. And let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Netflix in the NASDAQ? It is, right?
I assume, yeah,
Yeah, gotta be. There it is.
yeah.
Netflix is the 15th heaviest weighted company in the NASDAQ, 1.09%. So now one of the bigger movers, we got the NVIDIAs, the Apples, Microsoft, all over 10%. Netflix is about 1%. So maybe it's going to slightly move the NASDAQ a little bit here. But there you have Netflix earnings. We'll get back to the markets that we trade, which are the futures markets. Let's take a look here at the news to start. Of course, we just got Netflix earnings. Pretty quiet on the news front today. We did get ADP weekly employment change. Came in at 8,000. Prior was 11.75 thousand. A bunch of comments from the president today. He is going to Davos, but before that, he did make sure he gave us his opinion on a bunch of things at the White House press briefing today. I think he was like going through like think the guys were calling him mugshots on air, but just a bunch of different things. He was, speaking about a lot, and tariffs still on the headlines. Anything you got, Coach Paul, as far as the news goes?
Yeah, the carry trade is rearing its ugly, or depending on your position, beautiful head in the bond market. And I think this also, the thing was another contributor to the big down move today. Japanese government bonds are at 20-year high yields, putting pressure on the carry trade. And that started to become more of a headline last week, and it's putting a lot of pressure on stocks. The other
Absolutely.
one is we got a double whammy. The T word
T word is back.
and nationwide, to quote ZZ Top. But yeah, that and we talked earlier in the green room, and it's getting the feeling like we had last February.
Yeah, I don't know that we get the same sell off, but it feels very similar to last year. A lot of uncertainty. The market's kind of hanging out near all time highs, but not very convincing as far as taking out those all time highs. We haven't seen the Nasdaq make an all time high since October, and we're starting to hear some of these uncertainties come back up. And we saw what they did last year. Is it going to happen again? Who knows? But we haven't gotten the Supreme Court's opinion on tariffs. Hearing more about tariffs and trade wars. Heard the president say we're not going to have a trade deficit by the end of said the end of next year. We're not going to have a trade deficit. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on right now, and what it will do, Coach Paul, I think, is give us some volatility in the markets, which that's what we have to worry about as day traders. And I love it. I'm going to embrace the volatility. Of course, if we see it pick up like it did last year, the call is to scale down, size down, but take advantage of the opportunities. That's what we want to do as day traders here, and having a plan to do so.
And it's going to be very important to keep track of your ATR risk.
Yep.
It's rising and it has a chance to explode.
Yes, it does. Let us know how you all did in the chat. What's up, Bobby? Good to see you. Yeah, that Russell trade turned out to be a pretty good one. You said you're having a good time trading silver. What a market that market is. Let's take a look at the quote board. Again, these are going to be a little bit skewed. Probably doesn't even really make sense to do it today because yesterday was a non-settlement day. So we're seeing some huge percentages, natural gas being one of them. I saw a lot of people talking about that. But over the past 2 days, we'll call it, this is from Friday's settlement. We got the Nikkei down 3.02%, Micro Bitcoin down 6.25%, Micro Ethereum, our biggest percentage mover to the downside, down 9.14%. Platinum up 6.66%. What happened, Coach?
It's down 9%.
Ethereum, yeah.
Wow.
Over the last 2 days,
Even okay, that's still huge. I mean,
it's
the
huge. Yeah,
9%.
it was 7% today. Yeah, 7%. Big Monster Jam trading's going pretty good. I think we both had pretty good days today. We can talk about some of the trades that we took. We'll go through the markets, but trading has been going pretty good to start the year, I have to say. Trading some different. I've traded the Russell more than the NASDAQ this year. It's just been cleaner opportunities, but even the NASDAQ was fairly clean today. To the upside, we had platinum up 6.57%, silver up 6.68%, and natural gas. So a lot of people talking about natural gas in the chat today, up 26% in the last 2 days. We did have this huge gap up, and it looks very similar. So natural gas might start to get interesting here. I know we are supposed to, in New York on Sunday this week, supposed to get like 1.5 feet of snow, I think, in some parts. I know it was like 2 degrees in Chicago this morning.
Oh, well, I'm not there. I'm on the east side of Cleveland, just
Okay.
below It's below Buffalo.
Yeah. Oh,
It's been
yeah.
snowing. I've been here a week. It's snowed every day. We have about 1 foot of snow on the ground here.
Nice.
Um, but
Gotta love it.
it's cold. By the way, it's January. It's supposed to be
It's
cold.
it's supposed to be. It is supposed to be. But natural gas with this gap up, right? We saw this in October. Gapped up, kind of held that gap into a really nice rally. Are we in the middle of that right now? That gap is, you can see, this most recent gap we had around the same prices. And trading back up again could get pretty interesting here. Today was like a 9% day, but this 26% is including that gap. That gap and yesterday's trading. Do I love silver? I mean, silver's a good trade, but we've talked about the risk that comes with trading silver. Let's take a look at our big four. We got crude oil up 0.37%, the S&P down 2%, gold making new all-time highs as well, up 3.7%, and the NASDAQ down 2.11%. Again, yesterday was a non-settlement day, so these percentage moves are from Friday's settlement price. Pull up the NASDAQ here, Coach Paul, on a daily. What are we seeing here?
Well, we see that gap, and we're failing. We'll look at the 20 and the 50-day moving average, and we gapped underneath that and couldn't capture that. That's to me, it's very negative to me.
Yeah,
Um, especially look at well, the volume is higher. It's the highest volume. Is that the highest volume this year?
of the year. Yeah, of the year so far.
Okay, and okay, but you can say it incorporates 2 days, but there was some trading yesterday on a half day. But at the bottom line, technically, this is failing. Well, we've been talking about how this is losing its momentum. It's not like the others.
No, it's
um,
not.
and look, that's that's a huge red flag. So earlier we were talking about the carry trade, its effects, the trade wars.
Right.
Let's see what happened last year when the same talk we made. When was that? In December. We made the all-time highs, flopped around,
Yep.
and then trade wars and carry trade talk. We had a big break. Does that mean that's going to happen again? No, but it's
Kind of looks
very
like a duck. Kind of looks like a duck. And if it quacks like a duck, it might be a duck. Uh, very similar to 2024 going into 2025, there was a candle, this December 18th candle. I'm pretty sure that was the last Fed rate decision of 2024. Stayed in that candle for a while until we started to break down below that 20 and 50 moving average. So again, is it a guarantee that that's going to happen? It's not. It does look slightly different, but very similar, very, very similar to what was happening there. And like you said, Coach Paul, even more recently, just a gap below the 20 and 50 daily moving averages. We haven't had a test of the 200 moving average on the daily in a little while, and it's about 5% from where we are right now. I know Hogue has been commenting on this as well, but we're sitting below 5% off the all-time high in the NASDAQ right now as well. That move down to the 20-day moving, 200-day moving average would be about a 10% move off the all-time highs. It's not out of the question. What does that mean for us as day traders? there might be opportunity on both sides of this market.
Well, as we move down and you're going to notice volatility goes up. It's not like gold and silver. It's the opposite.
Yep.
Equities do not like downside, and it moves faster down than it goes up because it naturally goes up. So look at what is the average true range? Ticked up a little today. Let me get out of its way.
It's 351 points right now in the NASDAQ.
It's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it at its peak?
Last
Year
year,
was,
almost 900 points, 887.
yeah. So, what's the follow through to me? With, I mean, think of all, which is all the influences, trade
Yep.
wars, carry trade, Greenland, um, uh, and, and look, we finished near the lows.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes, we
I, I
did.
I consider this liquidation of longs, because you were trading it today. We did. We had that gap down. We rallied back to yesterday's half-hour opening. And what happened?
No buyers up there.
No buyers, and so small trading or small volume on the sell side drove it back to new lows. That's not healthy. So can it continue? I'm trading it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, I made my money to the long side today in the NASDAQ. We were talking about this during the opening call, and the question was whether or not we were already trading here when the New York session opens. And the question is, these 25 200s, are we going to see volume? Overnight inventory is already short, right? And we had the inventory short from the holiday day as well. A lot of times, what you'll see is when there's a move during a holiday. We saw this during Thanksgiving as well, right? The week after Thanksgiving, the week after Christmas, when the real volume came in, it kind of retraced that move before it continued in that direction. And that was the idea for the trade today, right? So when the volume comes in for the New York session, are they just going to continue this flow to the downside, or is there going to be a reconciliation of that move before we continue lower? I didn't even realize that it rejected right at 50%. That just happened to play out pretty well, measuring that. But we'll go down to a shorter time frame, and on the open, it was to me, a pretty nice long opportunity. Looking at this opening candle, we tried to trade lower initially. And when we got back and kind of held above VWAP, I just got in a quick scalp long in the NASDAQ, and it went pretty quick. That was, to me, most of the profit on the day. There was some trades that I took later, but that was really it. And again, I think opportunity on both sides. The trend is saying to the downside, and it just feels like the overall sentiment of the Nasdaq is heavy with the uncertainties, especially. But there was an opportunity for a quick long here, but I think just like we say all the time, reasonable expectations for the outcome of your trade, and then going from there. Right? If I was looking for that gap fill, which I know a lot of traders probably are, I'm not getting it. Right? So got to take what the market is willing to give you. Gaps do not have to be filled, and even if they do, they don't have to do it on the time frame that I want them to be filled.
Yeah. Another interesting on its half hour, that would speaking of the gap, that first half an hour um, on Sunday night, we framed that out, and we've talked about this filling gaps in the present. If we anchor VWAP to that, volume didn't show that. When we've talked about this before, if it was going to go, you would have to have what? Buying.
Buying.
The
Yeah.
slope of VWAP denied that.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, as we went lower, it picked up more volume to the downside. Tried it this morning.
Price traded, price advertised higher. There was no convinced buyers up there. That's a signal, right? I mean, I had this framed out, if I had this framed out this way in real time, that's probably a short, right? And yeah, you can say that in hindsight, but
Well, it's at
that's a
least
reasonable analysis. It's
if
at least
you're
an exit.
long, an exit.
Yeah, for sure.
And as a matter of fact, I did take a short when we got under view up on
Back
the
under
half
it.
hour
Nice.
because all in that we had buying into that framework
Mm.
and rejected and started picking up um, velocity. It's like when we use that, someone put an extra 5 pounds on the dumbbell and it just came crashing down.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it looks like. Ali says bye bye. You leaving us, Ali? Have a good day. But yeah, nice two-sided trade. There was an opportunity, but reasonable expectations, and that from the open, that's almost a 200-point move in the Nasdaq. But it got back to what the flow is right now, and that's to the downside. Um, oh, I don't know. Bye bye, goodbye. Was it like a bye bye? I don't know. I don't know who you were saying there, Ali. Thought you were leaving us. Stay with us. We appreciate you being here. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. All right, let's take a look at some of the other equity markets. We'll
Mhm.
go to the S&P. We'll do these pretty quick, but the S&P, another one, Coach Paul, gap below that 20. Uh,
Couldn't hold the 50.
couldn't hold it. Trading inside that October 10th candle. Said it a bunch of times. I don't think we're done trading this trading this candle. This was a tariff candle, just to remind everybody. Right? It feels like it was so long ago, but that was president talking about tariffs almost 100 days ago, and we are still trading those prices. Uh, Nate, that's a good
And he was
question.
talking
Yeah,
about it again.
yeah, right. And
And
here
well,
we
how did
are,
we react?
more selling.
Now, there's retaliatory tariffs too, and this is the danger of trade wars.
Mm,
It's almost like a family argument.
yeah.
I mean, no, I'll do this, I'll do that, and I know oftentimes trade wars turn into hot wars.
Mm,
I mean, these are things I've never seen in my lifetime. We're threatening our allies. I don't. This. It's never happened in my lifetime. I know I'm an old man,
yeah.
and we're at near all-time highs. I mean, that's. I've never seen anything like it. I don't. It's concerning, but the market is concerned. That gaps. Let's keep an eye on that puppy.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the Dow, very similar as well. Still has some room to go. And I think this is just a case of the Dow and the Russell being a little bit stronger right now. But we kind of have on a higher time frame all of them going the same way. And then my guy Rusty tried to hold on. It tried to hold on. Said, guys, come on, we could just go make all time highs. Everything's okay. But it couldn't keep everything up. And the Russell ending the day with a doji was a pretty decent trade. What is that white line? Here's the Russell, but all of them, all the markets did the same thing. We traded either back into that Sunday opening candle and rejected, right? So this is a interesting spot for the market, this gap. Everyone knows that it's there. Are we going to fill it or not? Um, that remains to be the question. But the Russell tried, and to me, I took a couple longs in the Russell this morning, and it just looked like the strongest
The
of the four.
urgency.
It did. Yeah. If you were wondering why I took the long in the Russell, that's why. And just trade management up at that 200 moving average. I think I took one off, and then the target ultimately was settlement, just to see if we did get that, and settlement was up here, just to see if we get that gap fill. But when it turns around and goes the other way, I can't hold on to that trade anymore. I have to take it off because the market is saying that it's done trading. We got about 50% into that gap and rejected. Anything above 25.80s, if it wasn't convincing buying, I have to get out.
Yeah, and someone's saying that you've been trading Rusty for a while. But we've been. It's just a smoother trade.
It is.
But notice if they're buying Rusty early, that rotation spread, the NASDAQ goes the other way, and the S&P gets caught as the middle child. As a middle child, I understand it's drama, but that's been a correlation. But if they're buying Rusty, they're selling NASDAQ.
Billy saying head and shoulder looking back a few days on the 30
Yeah,
minute in the Russell. I guess so, right? Head and shoulder with like a little gap
little
here,
gap.
but right.
But put a line chart and then it'll pop up. You'll see it easier.
There you go. There it is.
Kind of a
There's
shrug, head and shoulders.
our little some eyes. I'm pretty sure we drew one of these last year
Yes,
before
yes,
that
we
major sell
did.
off.
What was that? The Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a
a-
Batman.
And then we got a sell off. So yeah, there you go. Um all right. I'm gonna leave that on there. That is technical analysis if you've never seen any. Um
Only
okay.
seen here at the buzzer.
Only seen
You
here.
won't see that anywhere else.
Anything else you got, Coach Paul, on the equities?
Um, no. That's did we? Oh, let's look at. Did we look at the Dow?
We took a quick look. Here's the Dow on the 30, back below that
Yeah,
200 moving average also.
but look, it was moving in tandem with the Russell, but it fell apart quicker.
Yeah, it did.
Um, triple. How many times have we been up on that? One, two, three, 4 times since last week.
Like
Um,
that. It looks like it needs to go find some buyers lower. And of course, anything can and will change, right? A headline can come out. Billy was saying something about the tariffs here. So that was tariffs enacting, now threat of tariffs repealing or foreign escalation seems like a crapshoot. Here's the one thing I know: I am not an economist. I know that for a fact. And if I try to determine what the market should do based on a tariff decision, I'm doing myself a disservice, especially for the time frame that I'm trading on. The one thing I do know, and Billy, I kind of agree with you, it feels like a crapshoot, especially with the Supreme Court. Hey, we're going to make a decision about this today, and then it just gets pushed back. Volatility, right? Anytime I hear that T word, anytime there's talk about tariffs, it's going to be volatile. But what I want to try to do is remain unbiased, and I'm biased towards action, right, in the markets. If there's action, then I'll trade that action on either side because the market is going to show what the response is at the end of the day. And then if what we saw last year happens where we see that volatility pick up a bunch, then that's when I start to maybe step on the brakes a little bit. Right now, there's no certainty in it. Um, so I don't know how anybody would make an assumption about where the markets are going to go. So we really just got to trade the chart that's in front of us right now.
well, I'll add to that, Coach. You're right. Um, economics is what the market should do.
Yeah,
As traders, we have to trade in the present,
what the
especially
markets are
day
doing.
trading.
Yeah,
There's value in it. I'll give you an example. When I'm an econ major. My the dean of the econ department at Loyola University of Chicago actually had a futures trading class. And after the class, I had to make a decision, a personal decision, whether I could stay and finish full time or work. And he's like, Paul, I'm an economist. I know economics. I don't know how to trade. You want to learn how to trade? Go find successful traders and learn.
mm,
So I respect economics, but for trading, its basis is predictive.
yeah,
In trading, we can't predict. We have to trade the action. And if you've ever been caught in that where this market can't do that, and it does, you'll know what I mean.
yeah.
So one last thing on that, and I learned from this from the professor is like what do you get when you have a room of 100 economists?
100 opinions.
101 opinions. So while I respect the dark arts of economics, but trading that can really, really cause a lot of angst. So remember,
Especially on a
um,
shorter time frame.
on a shorter time frame,
Yeah,
it's in the end we all die. So
yeah,
today you have to trade in the present.
100%. Let's take a look at the metals here. Gold made a new all-time high of 47.7150 in the futures. Here is that Sunday open. Uh, sometimes they say don't trade on the holidays, but yeah. uh, there you go. There's that Sunday Globex open, and here is last night's session open. Take a look there, frame that out. Extremely bullish market. We could go out to the daily, Coach Paul, but I think we know what it looks like. What are you seeing here on the 30-minute in gold?
Well, two things. That half hour was that's another concern. That gap we don't talk about, and I think that half hour was done in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does it justice of just how violent that move was.
The first minute on Sunday was a $18 candle in gold. That first minute candle. That is urgency if I've ever seen urgency. I don't know if I'm trading the 1 minute candle in gold on the Globex open, but maybe I
That's
should.
going to be your yeah, that's going to be your least amount of risk
Right,
at
right.
this point. Um, so what did we do after the first hour? We didn't have follow through buying. VWAP went sideways. Um, and really stayed there until last night's Globex opening. And then when Shanghai opened up, it was off to the races.
That's the real one. That is the real one. Let's take a look at that Shanghai session open. That is 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time. Uh, here's the 1 minute. There's urgency there. I mean, you could look at it on a 1 minute. And we talked about this, doing this in silver also. That 1 minute, it's quick, sounds crazy, but it is going to be your least amount of risk. What you're not trying to do is decipher every 1 minute candle. That's a fool's errand, and you're going to get yourself in trouble. But if we were trying to decipher urgency, this lets us get a little bit closer to volume, Coach Paul. We can see how much the market respected that 1 minute candle when it printed. Let's take a look here. This is the Shanghai Open from last night. Uh, if we bought on a candle close outside of that range, which is up here, this is and trade micros because this is going to sound like a lot of risk. But to make a new low there, that's eight points, $8 in gold. What's that? $800?
Yeah.
$800. Um, that's the smallest amount of risk based on that setup that you're going to get, and you could have got a 2 to 1, 20 to 1, however many you want to one. If you if you
A
hold on,
bazillion to one.
right? Yeah, if you hold on to this trade now, are you the type of trader that can hold on to this? Personally, I'm probably not. At the high, you got a 12 to 1, right? With that risk. But now, if we switch that to a 30-minute, actually kind of similar. But let's see, 30-minute Shanghai Open. Here's your candle close. Now we're talking about $20 worth of risk if we wait for that candle close. So a little bit more risk there. We know that that volume is going to come in for that Shanghai Open. It's up to your discretion as a trader what you decide to do there. But it's clear that that's when the volume comes in for the metals. What are you seeing here, Coach Paul?
Oh, well, I agree. You can. Here's another thing that I'm doing now with gold because I'm not trading silver. I just don't have the intestinal fortitude. But gold, here, let's look where it breaks out and frame that out.
This one here
Yep.
on a 30, or you want to do a shorter time frame?
Well, let's do the 30.
All
Let's say
right.
we see that. All right. Now, that's the new opening. Now, let's go to a 3 minute, 5 minute chart from that point. We can abstract the risk. All right. And we attach if we in that 30 minutes
Hmm.
that it broke out. Now, what's the risk? So I've
Okay.
been doing that. It,
Yeah.
well, and at the time, and that is that 3 minute frame out the 3 minute candle with a different color. Was it that big? Oh yeah, there. Now I can't. The abstraction is I want to buy, but I can't afford that kind of risk.
Yeah.
But I can afford this one.
You're
So
right.
it the mar to me, that's leaning on the bid. Why is that a bid? We have the breakout. We have we're above VWAP. VWAP's curling up. I can't afford that risk, but I can abstract or compress the time with
Yeah.
it because the risk is time. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
whenever you buy this, I mean, literally in minutes, it could break $80.
Yeah. I
Not
like what
that
you
it's
just.
going to.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't want to play that game, but I can
Right.
play this game.
Yeah. So what Coach Paul just said there to summarize that, right? You're looking for the 30-minute candle to close outside the range. Is that what you're looking for? 30-minute candle
Yeah.
close outside the range first, and then we go to a shorter time frame and go from there.
Yep.
That is a way, especially in these metal markets, to reduce the risk that we might have to take on these trades. And to me, that makes a lot of sense, right? If this is, and just thinking about it from, I need flow to continue this trade. If this is where buyers are showing that they are going to try to break this out, and they don't, I don't want to start guessing when they're going to do it. I'll get out and wait for a better trade opportunity. Um, yeah, I like that. That's a way to limit. We just took that risk from being almost either $10 to $20 to about a $4 to $5 risk in gold. Uh, Confirming the trade on a higher time frame, taking it on a shorter time frame. So nice stuff there, Coach Paul. We got silver making new all-time highs as well. A little bit of a different day in silver. Look at that daily candle. It's a doji. Compare that to gold. Gold looks extremely bullish here. Silver. Jack was talking about the a spread trade, buying some micro gold and selling micro silver with that gold silver ratio. Uh, Today would have been a pretty good day for that for that trade. Seeing gold break out there. Uh, Silver did make a new all-time high, $95.78, but a pretty indecisive day when you look at that daily.
Well, we're up at $95.
Yep,
This is this
it's
is
it's coming.
it's coming, but it was a different trade than gold. Um, it's almost like gold had less risk.
Yeah,
It really does. If you're dealing it, yeah, it's got bigger volume, and the hesitation is any time you could get walloped with $2 loss. So if you go to a cash dealer, they ask for a 20. They don't ask. If you want to buy silver, you got to pay a premium of
mm,
anywhere from 10 to 20%.
mm.
But 10, right? Depending on the volatility. The last time I did it was 10%. I'd imagine they've made it even larger. So what is 10% of 90? You're going to pay let's say a $10 premium just to own cash silver. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
So just on that, that's just to get in. If you want to get out, it's another 10%. Now at these levels, there's not on the professional dealer side, it's chaos. Now this still looks very, very bullish to me. Um, uh, it didn't do much today, but it did yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, it did.
Um, so, oh, is that after is that reflecting the close of the Globex?
This daily candle here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, very similar to gold. It just didn't get the same lift off that gold did. And that's not surprising. We are near $100. That is not going to be an easy level to break through, I don't think. Um, but maybe we're just building some momentum into it. I'm looking at that gold silver ratio. I can pull up this chart. Let's see what we got here. This is a daily chart. And that's the lowest it's been in a very long time. How do you read this, Coach Paul? What are you seeing here?
Well, what's on top? Well, I can tell you what's on top.
Yeah,
Gold.
gold. Yeah,
Uh, now, we were what kind of time frame? This is a
it's a
daily
daily.
time
This is a
frame?
daily. Yeah,
Well, let's look at a trend. That hasn't changed.
yeah.
So tonight, I would look at silver uncorking. Like I
Hmm.
said, this is it's very friendly to silver. It's still
Yeah.
that way. Let's look. Put a line chart just so it gets easier to see.
Hold on. Let me
So
move
let's
this
see
over
when it
here. We'll get that. There you go.
flipped.
Uh, give me 1 second
'Cause we
here.
had
There we go. Put that in the middle of the screen. All right.
I was getting dizzy watching that.
Sorry.
Um, no, it's just that's how fast this silver's catching up.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Um, but we had a triple top. There's a Head and Shoulders on the
Oh yeah.
top.
Yep. There you go.
What date was that? That was in May.
This is April. Yeah, April to May. Wonder what was
But
happening then.
so look at the neckline. Uh, It's back. That almost looks like Bart Simpson.
Yeah, it is.
A little less like Batman. But when it breaks that that neckline, because we had that the huge gold was remember uh everyone was talking gold. But since June, it's just sneaking and it's gained values. I don't see it would have to I wouldn't fade that move.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed. Agreed. Got to be careful trading it, but I don't think it's a move to start fading yet. I would agree with you there, Coach Paul.
yeah.
Uh, kind of a quiet day today, but that could just be, set up for tonight. I know what I will be doing. 8 p.m. Eastern time, watching the metals as they open. Gold and silver. They
In
have been presenting
Shanghai.
in Shanghai. 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central. All right. Let's get to a couple questions. Saw some questions. Jay Picasso. You see my hat. I'm gonna start selling
Okay.
chart art.
Yeah, I see it. I don't see. Oh, I was worried that I didn't see your other ear.
Oh, it's there.
That was Van Gogh.
Yeah, right. All right, we got some questions in the chat here. Somebody was talking about tilt. Where's that question?
How to stop going on tilt.
Yeah, Nate trades. How do you guys get over a bad tilt revenge day? Uh, talk about it first, Coach Paul.
First, learn from it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put some. We've done this. How many people in the chat have had those days,
yeah,
and probably more than once? And by the way, some of the greatest traders have gone through this. I can't do this anymore. You have to learn that you have to preserve capital. We talk about capital preservation Friday. To me, it's capital preservation every day that ends in Y.
yeah.
So I cut it off at 12% of my capital, which is
Hmm.
huge when you really think about it.
Yeah. 12% is a
Uh,
lot.
uh, Yeah, if I'm running a business, I take a 12% hit. I, I have to have operating capital. That's number one is capital preservation.
Right.
So, well, and part of the psychology of that is I got to make some money, man. And we just completely ignore the results of the downside. Now,
Yeah.
if you're going to be trading for an extended period of time, on average, your winning days and losing days are going to be 50%. You can make a lot of money doing that. The key now, I want to go through the percentages here. If you cut that off, you can survive and then thrive. But especially early on, we don't want to take the loss, a good loss.
Yep.
We go back to best loser wins. You have to learn how to lose well to survive and thrive. So learn from this. Put it in with it. One great thing about Top Step is you can actually cut yourself off without relying on our. I'll put this in another term. Our ego, ourselves. That's your worst enemy because you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to take a loss. I can't take this loss. I'll do another one. I've done it more than twice
Oh yeah.
until you
Yeah.
learn the lesson because you're here really to learn. Because you're never going to get to the where you want to go until you learn that lesson. So that's the lesson to learn. To me, I cut it off at 12%.
And that's a hard stop because I don't know that tilt is avoidable. I think you get better at dealing with it, but I think there are always going the catalysts that cause tilt are always there. Every day we interact with the markets, right? So are you going to sometimes make decisions that aren't in your best interest? Sometimes you probably are, right? We're human and we're making, sometimes really quick decisions. But like Coach Paul just said, right? If you have that hard stop in, you're making a finite decision at a point where you're not under pressure, right? I think the hardest thing to do, Coach Paul, is and we've used this analogy before, but the boxing analogy, when is it more likely that somebody, a normal pedestrian, is going to knock out a boxer? When they're in the ring or when they're at the grocery store? Right? You have a better chance of knocking out a professional boxer at the grocery store when they're not guards up, right? So if we don't have those guards up as a trader, right, and we're just trading and saying, hey, you know what, I don't need to set a daily loss limit. When it happens, I'll set one then. Let the market punch you in your face for a loss bigger than you were expecting, and then ask yourself whether or not you're actually going to make that right decision. You're not. How do I know? Because I've done it. You get to a point and you're just like, oh shit, I cannot accept that loss, right? It's not, and it usually happens with something it's outsized, right? It's not the normal loss. We've grown accustomed to taking those. It's the big one that is really going to hurt, and you can't take it. So setting that loss limit for yourself, and is it going to suck when you hit it? It is, but I think the best thing is with that 12%, you're going to have another account. You're going to have an account to continue to trade the next day. Um, the market is big enough to take all of it, and then I think for me the last thing is, if it happens, the one thing I try to remind myself all the time is that whatever result I'm getting from my trading, 99% of the results that I'm getting are a result of a decision that I'm making. And even with tilt trading, you're you're making a decision. And whether it's a conscious decision or not, that's up for debate, right? Sometimes people say, "Hey, you know what? I'm not thinking clearly. Maybe it's a fight or flight response." It is what it is at the end of the day. So, I think we have to be uh cognizant of the decisions that we're making at all times and really ask yourself when you're putting on a trade, should I be doing this? Right? What are my intentions for putting on this trade? Am I just trying to make money? Is it a good trade? Am I bored? Right? If it's not a good answer, I don't think it's worth it putting your money behind it. So, you know, if this was easy, everybody would do it successfully, and that's the reality of it. But just when you understand and like truly understand that the result of all your trades are, you know, they're the results of your actions, sometimes you just take better actions. And it might take a little while to learn that. I know it did for me.
One of the things too is the discipline. Relying on your gut or your ego to cut that off,
Yeah.
it's low level.
Yeah.
So until you can, there's a great book called Discipline is Destiny. It's the power of self-control. It's a Stoic virtues by Ryan Holiday. Most people have probably read it, but it's a really good book because that discipline is destiny. We don't have it when we first start. Heck, we might not have it now, but
Yeah.
having a lockout and preventing that extreme beating, you could tap out at 12%. You're
Hmm.
alive because it's survival.
Yeah.
So that's how we get that. It's a real trick. I heard that today on TopstepTV about the question about discipline.
Yeah.
Well, if yeah, it'd be great to be disciplined, especially when you're just starting. But does that happen? It's such an urge, and it's such a hard thing to do. Having yourself locked out at a reasonable percentage. We've had here people say 5% because I'm not going there.
Yep.
Um, you can survive, but relying on your own discipline is a tough road.
Yeah. Bobby says, "Does anyone talk to themselves when trading?" Yes. Yes.
It's very
we'll,
common.
we'll leave it at that. Yes. Talk to myself a lot. Um, all right.
What I don't what I don't do anymore is swear, get
Yeah.
angry, or cheerlead.
Yeah.
I had that problem. Go, come on. It's pure emotion, and I think I've
Yeah.
said this before. I cut that off real quick by imagining myself in a cheerleading outfit. It stopped immediately. So both of those, as long as you're not cheerleading or swearing at the market to do what you want it to do,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yep. Yeah. The most I'll do now, like I used to, we've gone through it all. Like I used to negative self talk, all of that, and then after a while, you realize like that's not a way to conduct business. What I do sometimes with self talk is just like reminders of the standard that you want to hold yourself to. Um, where it's just like you take a trade and you're just like, come on, bro, you're better than that. Do better. I'll do that, but that's about the limit. Like people say it all the time. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend. Don't beat yourself up, but
No.
it is okay to hold yourself to a standard for sure. All right. Any other markets we want to talk about? I don't want to talk about crude, but if you do, we can.
You don't want to talk about, but we can talk about the bond market.
We can. Let's do that. Let's do that. Here's the 30-year. Is this starting to get interesting or what?
Yeah, and we just talked about um, the carry trade, and it's affecting all bond markets or treasury markets. This yesterday and today was a big move, and we closed below the 200 daily. Um, we have a head and shoulders, and we're below the tariff tantrum candle. There's a lot of pressure here. Um, um, but we held this 200 moving average 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and today we got under it with high volume. Very well, it's very negative to me. 10-year, much the same. Yeah, and the 10-year we were talking, yields in Japan spiked to like 5-year highs. It's the catalyst of the carry trade. Borrow in Japan, cheap rates, convert to your currency, invest in and then invest. That trade has been going on for 20 years. That thing collapses. It's bonds will not rally. There's no. It's so big that central banks are going to be. They won't be able to stop it. They got enough problems, right? So it's very concerning. Very if you're long, but that was bonds have made in a 10-year made and had a big break. and the structure is very negative.
There you have it. Genius Monkey, I think that might answer your question there. What would be the effect of the European countries selling bonds on the U.S. economy? Does the U.S. have the option to dishonor the payment?
Oh, crap. That last part. That's what starts hot wars.
Mm,
No,
yeah,
there's a great book. Read it if you care. It's pretty dry, but I'm a bit of a geek. It's
nerd.
by yeah, by a guy named Sidney Homer. Um, the history of interest rates. And by the way, in those history of interest rates, we've never had negative rates. Look at gold and silver. What's
Yeah,
the direct effect of this? And now we're I mean, this is where the volatility is coming in. Swiss franc had a big rally last night. Euro had a big rally. Um, I haven't looked at the British pound. That ghost. Not as big, but look at the Swiss and the euro. Um, a much bigger move. This is so now that could be an effect of the trade wars. And we'll look at the half. Let's look at the half hour because there was some urgency.
here is Sunday's open, and there were some nice moves. Don't trade on a
Yeah,
holiday, right? That
and
who?
look at yeah. Now this is a classic example of bringing an abstract.
Yeah,
It'll go down to a lower time frame. But last night we had a classic fake out with anchored VWAP did not leave that range.
no, it did not.
And as soon as we got over it, frame out, and I think that was Shanghai.
Shanghai open
Little,
is right here. This one.
okay, even better. That, that was it was 100-point rally, and we haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, getting interesting out here. Bunch of markets moving. Bunch of markets moving.
And,
Coach Hoop, we saw natural gas earlier. Biggest percentage mover to the upside. That one's getting interesting also. Um, and there's not a lack of opportunity, Coach Paul.
no, the opportunities there. Do you have the discipline um, to control your ego and trade your plan your trade? And I'll leave it at that because I believe we're at time.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes.
Oh, we got 5 minutes. All
I
right.
just pulled up a micro Bitcoin chart real quick. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, unless there's any other markets you want to talk about, Coach Paul, micro Bitcoin, another interesting one.
Yep.
Um, right back at the J trade candle high on the daily.
Yes, but now the urgency of that is waning.
Yeah.
I be, yeah, it's in trouble, says Coach Hoop, and this is what I want to go through. This is very disappointing if you're an investor.
Yeah.
There's no flight to safety. It's actually liquidation into into
Metals.
trouble.
Yeah.
It's metals meaning you could
Down. Of course, we know there are no real gaps in Bitcoin. And then is that Sunday?
yes, I
No.
believe so.
No. This was last night.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, like go back to Sunday's opening. That was one of my best trades of the
Oh
weekend.
wow. This is Sunday.
Yeah,
Wow.
under the 200
That's nice.
and urgency.
Yeah, right away.
And look at the volume. Never recovered.
No.
So we come into last night's opening and we see the same thing. Bitcoin, that's massive liquidation.
Mm.
Under the 200 on a half hour. Look at that volume. They didn't want it. And we never recovered and much the same last night. We finished near lows of the day. We've talked before. This is becoming more of an equity trade
Yep.
than a
It looks
play
it
to
looks
see.
like it looks like the NASDAQ.
It does look like that. It's a tech play,
Yeah.
which is sad because it's supposed to be.
All the suits got in there. Messed it up.
Yeah, again, it became okay. I couldn't put it any better.
That's what happened.
I'll just
They're like,
leave it
hey,
at that. Thank you.
all the kids are buying this internet money thing. Let's put a bunch of money in it, and now it's going to trade exactly like the equities because that's just like that
Because
looks
the
exactly
suits are in it.
because the suits are in
It's
it.
been no, it's because it's been institutionalized.
Right.
I mean, what while we have it, let's look at, oh, I just had the other bit,
Ethereum.
Ethereum.
Yeah, very similar chart. Very similar chart. Bobby saying people keep saying Bitcoin is the future. Potentially, if you know if you're a Bitcoin long term investor, you're welcoming this right now.
Yeah,
I know for us as day traders, and this is with any day trading, you could take the money and put it into some other investment. Making money day trading, you could make money shorting micro Bitcoin to buy real physical Bitcoin. Sounds like a great trade to me. Uh, if you think it's going to go up on a higher time frame, it's kind of a hedge.
well, it trades well. I think it's the
Yeah,
most underrated future. I love Bitcoin
yeah,
futures. And you
yeah.
notice that it really doesn't get going, until now. We don't have the weekend gaps like we used to. They're there, but not as prevalent because the futures market, I believe the Bitcoin market waits for futures to open. Why? Because you have leverage and they can hedge.
Hmm. Interesting stuff here in micro Bitcoin. Again, back at that daily J trade candle high. Some decisions to make here at these 89,000s. 85,000 was a big level as well, right around 50% of that candle. Ton of trading opportunities, everybody. Ton of trading opportunities. Today's Tuesday, shortened week. You know, these are the times we ask for as traders. We look for where there's volatility, there's opportunity. Make sure, like we talked about, risk management over everything, managing yourself over everything, because you want to be able to take advantage of these opportunities. These are great markets to learn in, I think, as well. So make sure you're giving yourself the best chance in all these markets. Anything else you want to say, Coach Paul, before we head out?
Well, do you know of any local art dealers?
Uh, try to find one. I'll try to find one.
Uh, Not really. Back to the basics. Plan your trade, trade your plan. Number one is survivorship. And to answer that question, but don't rely on your ego to stop you from a tilt. Have it in place, have it set up. All right. We'll talk tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. We will talk tomorrow. We got Coach Hoop doing his class in Discord at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And after that, Coach Ray and Coach Vince, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern. Coach Dakota with Slow Markets tonight at 8:30. I think I might be joining Dakota tonight for Slow Markets. We'll trade some metals. And we'll be back for the opening call tomorrow, 8:15 Eastern time, 7:15 Central. We appreciate you all being here, joining each and every day that you do. Do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button on the way out. Tell your friends and family to like and subscribe. And we will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye.